The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Media with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. You can visit and subscribe to the show at gotohealthmedia.com. And now, here is Jonathan Marks. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Go to Health. We've got another great show for you today. The holidays are coming up. And did you know that 40% of children with food allergies have experienced a severe reaction at least once? Prevalence of food allergies in the U.S. has been on the rise for the past 20 years, and approximately 200,000 patients require emergency medical care for food-based allergic reactions each year. With Halloween and holiday gatherings just around the corner, and many of us surrounded by treats that may contain common food allergens, such as peanuts, tree nuts, milk, and egg, it's more important than ever for parents, caregivers, and people living with food allergies to learn about the signs of an allergic reaction and ways to mitigate risk and how to manage their food allergies. Here to discuss this with us today is Chief of the Allergy, Immunology and Rheumatology Division of Rochester Regional Health, Dr. Shahzad Mustafa, along with Margaret, whose 16-year-old son Matthew lives with food allergies. Thanks for being on the show, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Dr. Mustafa, can you explain what a food allergy is and why it's important to talk about it at this time of year as we approach the holidays?
Yeah, so food allergies have unfortunately increased in frequency over the last couple of decades. A food allergy is different than a food sensitivity or a food intolerance. It's an immune-mediated reaction to a food allergen. Many of the common ones you mentioned, peanuts, tree nuts, milk, eggs, wheat, soy, seafood, seeds. With exposure to this food allergen, the individual has an allergic reaction, usually within minutes, and it can range from mild, itching or rash, to severe or life-threatening, a condition called anaphylaxis. So it's important to raise awareness of it, and today I'm here on behalf of Genentech and Novartis to raise awareness of food allergy and to also talk about some exciting new treatment options.
Great. And what are steps people can take to prepare for a safer trick-or-treating this Halloween? What advice do you have for parents or caregivers of children who have food allergies? What's the safe way to get through the holidays?
Yeah, so the management of food allergy always starts with strict avoidance of your food allergen, carefully reading ingredient labels, knowing exactly what you're consuming. That's the cornerstone of therapy, and then carrying epinephrine to treat accidental exposures leading to allergic reactions. But that being said, there are now strategies for risk mitigation against reactions in the setting of accidental exposure. Some individuals are familiar with oral immunotherapy, OIT. As of February 2024, the FDA approved Xolair or omalizumab as the only medication approved for the management of multiple food allergies in children and adults over the age of 1. Xolair blocks your allergic antibody, IgE, thus making it slightly harder to have an allergic reaction. It takes more allergen to have an allergic reaction. So in the setting of an accidental exposure, that'll hopefully prevent reactions or decrease severity. This is a medication we've used for over 20 years for other conditions, such as treating asthma in children and adults. It's a well-tolerated medication. It's an injectable medication, so the most common side effect is discomfort at the injection site, but anaphylaxis has been reported with Xolair as well. So these are important discussions to have with your healthcare provider, discuss risks and benefits, and decide if these treatment options may be right for you.
Now, can you take Xolair when you're having a bad reaction? Is that the right medicine to take, or should people be taking something else?
That's a great question. Xolair is for prevention, for proactive risk mitigation from accidental exposures. It is not to be used in the setting of an acute allergic reaction. It does not work like that. In the setting of an acute allergic reaction, I think it's important to note the treatment of choice is almost always epinephrine. And these are discussions that individuals with food allergies, or if you have children with food allergies, should really have with the healthcare provider, pediatrician, board-certified allergist. But to answer your question, very straightforward, Xolair is not indicated for the treatment of acute reactions. This is long-term preventative treatment.
I had an asthmatic child, and I know we always had the EpiPen at the ready. So, Margaret, can you tell us about your son Matthew's diagnosis and your family's experience with food allergies?
Sure. He was diagnosed with a peanut and tree nut allergy when he was 2 years old. And it was shortly after his official diagnosis that he ingested peanut butter and had a very severe anaphylactic reaction. And that was a real turning point for me as a new mom, but also for our family, because I really hadn't had a lot of experience or education around food allergies, and I had no idea how severe and life-threatening they could be. So once we got over that crisis situation, we really started by emptying out our pantry of any items that posed a threat to him and had serious conversations with friends and family about what foods were safe for him and to be brought into our home, or conversely, if we were a guest at someone else's house or a birthday party or something like that, to really have an open dialogue about that. And fast forward to today, he's 16 years old, and he, knows that the first line of treatment for him is avoiding his allergen, but he always does carry epinephrine, and Xolair has become an important part of his toolbox.
That's great. So when he was younger and didn't quite have the intellectual capacity he has today at 16, how did you keep him safe when he'd go elsewhere, like to school or to other birthday parties? How did you keep him safe from eating the wrong things?
Yeah, that came with a lot of communication on my part with the school, with friends that maybe he was going to a friend's house or a birthday party. It was really important for me to communicate his needs because he wasn't quite able to at that point. But there is a certain level of trust that you're placing in the adults who are around him, whether it's at a friend's house or at school. And so from a very early age, we worked with Matthew to have the words and to not feel shy about advocating for his needs. That way he had hopefully an adult who was the first line of defense, but if need be, he had the capacity to express what he needed in that moment.
Great. That's good. That's very good training. And it's very helpful, I think, to parents of kids with allergies who are young. Now that he's 16 years old, have his allergies changed or reduced? Has anything changed with age?
No, not yet. He does get tested regularly, but he still does present with allergies. So he does continue to avoid peanuts and tree nuts.
Got it. And how do you work with your allergist these days, you and Matthew? Has that changed? What's the ongoing treatment or checkups? How do we manage that?
The ongoing treatment is just regular appointments and check-ins. We have a very open dialogue with his allergist. We use a patient portal, which I'm sure many people do nowadays, where we can communicate if we have questions or concerns. And Xolair has been a part of Matthew's treatment plan.
Great, good. So, Dr. Mustafa, back to you. How can people manage food allergies, and can you discuss various different treatment options?
I can. So again, cornerstone of management, strict avoidance, reading food labels, avoiding your food allergen, carrying epinephrine for accidental ingestions. Some individuals may be appropriate for oral immunotherapy, which is exposure to small amounts of a food allergen over time. The only FDA-approved option for management of food allergies in children and adults over the age of 1 for multiple food allergies is Xolair. Xolair is an injectable medication. It's given every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the dose. It's used proactively as risk mitigation from allergic reactions for food allergy. It's important to note that it's FDA approved for multiple other conditions, such as asthma. It's been around for over 20 years. It's a well-tolerated medication that has side effects you need to discuss, such as injection site reactions and even the possibility of anaphylaxis. The beauty is we have multiple new treatment options. So it's a conversation to have with your healthcare provider. There's no one size fits all. So discuss risks, benefits, your own goals and desires, and the best way to move forward for management of food allergy.
And when we have food allergies, let me ask, how prepared is the pediatrician or the family doctor to treat these allergies versus going to an allergist? How do you know who to go to? What's the best professional to go to for this?
Yeah, I think the conversation should start with a pediatrician or your primary care provider. And I think depending on who you're seeing, there may be varying levels of expertise. But I do think it's important to note that there are treatment options, and board-certified allergists are experts in managing food allergy. So if that opportunity exists, and if your pediatrician or primary care doctor can provide a referral or work in conjunction with a board-certified allergist, that's likely the best option because these treatment options, they're not for everyone, and there's considerations, there's risks and benefits that are important to discuss. And really, I think board-certified allergists are best equipped to do that, and there's new treatments on the horizon as well. So it's an important conversation.
So parents shouldn't be shy about asking for a referral to an allergist when they see their pediatrician. Is that okay, or does the pediatrician get insulted?
I think parents should advocate for themselves and their children. And again, there's new treatments, and if a pediatrician or a primary care provider has good expertise in these, I think that's a great conversation. But I think most would appreciate the expert opinion of a board-certified allergist, but certainly be aware that these exist and to start the conversation.
Good. And Dr. Mustafa, when you take Xolair, and you said every 2 to 4 weeks, is this given at home? Can people give it at home, or do you have to see the doctor?
It's a great question. It's an injectable medication that starts with administration in a healthcare office with a doctor provider, but there is an opportunity after a certain number of injections to have administration done at home. And again, this is a discussion between the healthcare team and each family and individual. But yeah, eventually it can be administered, self-administered even, in the home setting.
Great. Thank you both so much for being with us today. We've been talking with Dr. Shahzad Mustafa and Margaret. Dr. Mustafa is the Chief of Allergy, Immunology and Rheumatology Division of Rochester Regional Health. Thanks for being with us today and reminding us about the cautions we need to take as the holidays come up and we get exposed to all sorts of different new holiday foods. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. And as we say, everybody, go to health. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Media. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next time. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.